In this video, we will use real-world data. I strongly feel that while learning Power BI, in addition to working with mock data, working with real data is very much helpful. This allows us to explore new datasets and also effectively use Power BI functionality to the fullest. We are going to use the 311 service request data from the city of Little Rock, Arkansas, USA. We will first look at the data source and then do some basic transformations in Power Query. Finally, we will create report pages that have interactive visuals. Let us look at the data, and we will go to the website. This is the City of Little Rock, Arkansas website, and where this is the 311 service request page. And 311 requests are like it is a tool for the citizens to kind of report or inquire regarding a non-emergency issues like potholes, graffiti, trash pickups, noise, etc. As you can see, these are the various columns which are in the original dataset. Looks like they have the data since 2016, and this is what we are looking at: the issue type and issue category. And if you scroll down, we can also see they have a couple of visuals where they have depicted what are the 311 issue types by year. As we look at other columns, I think there are few columns which we are interested in, and there is a created date and also what is the status, etc. There are various ways we can do it. We can export the data. It comes as a CSV file. As I said, it is from year 2016, so probably the data is pretty large, in say maybe in excess of 500 MB or so. So what we could do is we can just go and look at the data. What are the other options which from we can source the data? Like for example, if you go to this page, you can look at actions and export. Like I said, we can export that as a CSV file. And also, if you click on the drop down button and actions, there are various ways. You can bring it by API, or you can access via Odata. We will try to use this option so that when we use this Odata protocol, and we will go to get data and paste this link in the field. You can go to Odata from this here itself, or maybe you can click more and search for Odata in the get data option, so that you can click on that. Once you click on that and click connect, a new window will open. We can paste the URL here. Once we paste it and click OK, and it will bring the data into a navigator like always, and we can transform the data because we wanted to do some transformations in Power Query. So Power Query graphic tool window will open up. As you can see, there are several columns. Probably we are not interested in some of the columns, and we can do basic transformations as we build report pages. As and when needed, we can come back and make additional transformations here. For now, you can look at making changes to the data types and as such. And like I said, we can always come back and kind of clean it more and add more transformations at a future date. And we can rename the query to whatever we want to. We can change the name here, like I'm trying to name it as 311 requests Arkansas Little Rock, so that way it makes sense, right? So once we are happy, whatever applied steps, like always, they will be shown on the right side pane. And once we are happy, it will load into Power BI desktop. And remember, this is at least 500 MB plus data. So it will take a while to load the data into Power BI desktop. So we are patient, and then it will be loaded. Once we load the data will come into Power BI. And like I said, we could have done it by loading into a CSV file or Excel file. But using Odata, that link will help us, right? In case if you want to refresh the reports at a future date, and you'll have the most current data from the website. And these are the various columns which we brought into Power BI desktop after making all the transformations. And let us look at the data. And these are the various columns. And you can pause the video look at various columns. So what additionally what we can do is we can also bring in some population data. We already know that the original dataset 311 service request is from 2016. This is the population data which I found. Say if needed, we will use this population data in a report page. That way we'll try to create a per capita uh, measure and look at it. So this is how you can bring in the population data. You can save it as a CSV file on your desktop, or using enter data, you can clearly paste them directly onto this table option. We don't want those two columns. We can delete those two columns, and we can rename this table as a population table. Again, this is a disconnected table. We have not made any kind of relationships with the original data. So let us wait for the data to load. Once it loads, as I said, those are the two columns which are available for us. We have a couple of date columns like ticket created timestamp and also ticket closed timestamp. So what we could do is, for now, let us try to create a year column. So this way we have this column in this table itself, and later on, as we build report pages, we will try to create a calendar table which has continuous dates. So for now, let us commit to it, and you can see the year column is created. Now we can go to model view and create a relationship between these two tables as shown here. So this is for a temporary basis. Let us create a couple of report pages, and later on we'll create a calendar table. So once we are happy with this, we will go to report view page, and also like I always say, we can create a measure here itself, or maybe we'll create a separate measures table too. So what we can do is we can click on that. Like I've already done that, measures table we have created. So measures table, let us try to count the number of rows. We can later rename this to number of complaints. So total rows equal to count rows of this table. Commit to it. We have the total rows appearing here in a card visual. So now that we have done that, let us try to build a first report. We'll try to drag the stacked bar chart onto the canvas, and we will try to populate it with the desired columns. So what we could do is we can probably bring in a couple of columns here. We can bring in the year column to the y-axis, sorry, and this is stacked bar chart. So we have a year column here, and also we have passed for x-axis, we have passed the total rows, the measure which we have just created, and we'll do the different formatting as required. And for the legend, we have added the issue type. As you can see, the visual looks good already. From the raw data, we could quickly create a report page, and this visual will give you a lot of information to the user, right? So we, in case if you add all those data labels, and as such, the formatting will be helpful for the user whenever the user hovers over any kind of data point. Will be visible on any kind of data point on this stacked bar chart. So what we could do is we can just kind of improve this report page. We can add a slicer. We have various columns. So let us try to use ticket method column from our original data set, and let us try to change that into a tile slicer, and do the regular standard formatting there. And what happens is, whenever you click on any kind of value there, the slicer selections, obviously the stacked bar chart also will change based on the user selections. This itself looks good already. So like I said, we can do all those changes. We can add title and data labels and as such based on our requirement, right? So in a short time, we could go and get a new data, and which is a real world data, and we have created just one measure, which is a basic measure, and we have used a stacked bar chart. And in addition to that, we have a slicer up top, so that anytime user makes selections, those values are also changing. So this is pretty easy, and we have to spend more time to look at the data, and so that we can answer any kind of research questions. Let us go back to the website. And this is the one of the visuals. They have it on the website. I think our visual also looks almost similar to that. We can invert the range here. 2016 is appearing up top, so we will make that change here in our visual too. So I think all of them, the values looks good as on the date of this recording. Those values are also matching up. So this is the first report page, and we can make all the changes. We can change the legend, we can keep it, or maybe we can use it in the bottom or on the right or whatever. So again, let us try to compare the visual which is there on the website and also our visual. I think I'm repeating myself, sorry, but we have in a short period of time, we could replicate the visual which is there on the website, and we have also understood basics of this data, so that we can maybe at future date we will try to answer any kind of research questions, right? For example, we want to create another page where we want to see what are the 311 service requests by city ward. So I've duplicated the first page, and let us try to make the changes here. These are the columns which are past issue, subcategory, and total rows. And also we have, for the legend, we have used a neighborhood, uh, I think that the ward column, I guess, so neighborhood district. So you have various wards. So if you hover over any kind of data point, and we made all those data labels and as such. So those things are looking good. And let us try to go back to the website and try to compare our visual with the visual on the website. I think it is matching up. It is almost looks similar. So again, a look and feel is on us. We can create any kind of visual and try to answer research questions. We have just started, so we will try to use this data set and try to create more report pages. And during the journey, we will try to learn more complex calculations using DAX. So we can play around with this visual and click on make any selections on the slicer up top. Those things also will change. I think in a pretty short time, we could create a couple of report pages and answer 2 questions. And we've also compared these 2 visuals with the visuals which are available on the website. So this is the beginning, and we will try to create more report pages also, so that it will help us to not only understand and play around with the new data, but also try to maybe create a little bit complex calculations and kind of create report pages. So let me just go back and see. We have the population also. Like I said, at a future date, we will try to calculate per capita also. And these are the 2 report pages. And let me just quickly go back to the measure and try to maybe change the name of the measure. We have created that as total rows. We will try to make changes here. Again, like I said, we can refresh the data. It is coming from the Odata protocol. So if you wait, it will refresh to the most recent data. And again, we will try to go back to the measures table and maybe make changes to our measure name. Let us try to change it to say a number of complaints. That is what I have done. So this is a pretty good start, I feel. And once we start creating more report pages, we will try to deep dive into the data set and understand the data and answer research questions. Thanks for stopping by. See you in the next video.